Hello everyone, my name is Bridget, and today we're going to be talking about how to heal yourself by balancing family dynamics and ancestral healing. Now, a lot of families out there have stuff going on. I understand. And I've been working with thousands of people for over 15 years on ancestral healing and different kinds of healing that we can do with ourselves to then help the family and help all the different things come back into right order and balance. So we're going to be looking at this through the conversation today of putting our family roles back in right order. So what I see out there today and in most dynamics, especially in my generation, younger generations, but all over the map, all over the board, is that moms, dads, grandparents, kids have all been muffled into like these weird relationship dynamics that are causing a lot of pain and a lot of challenge, and it isn't working. And the approach or coping mechanism of just being like, okay, well then I just don't talk to my mom or dad or family, that doesn't really work either, because we need to stay in connection with each other, but in healthy connection with healthy boundaries. So that's what we're going to be getting into. If this sounds like something that you're experiencing and want to go deeper on, I have an incredible course down below. It's on ancestral healing, and it has a special module on working with the boundaries and the connection, particularly with mom and dad. So be sure to go check that out down below if you're wanting to go deeper into this subject. So what is the right order? What is the right dynamics of how things are supposed to go in families and how much you're supposed to take on or give or all the things? So part of my background is in family constellation therapy and inherited trauma. And it's so helpful to experience that framework, and I suggest going and looking it up, and that is part of what's included in the course down below, is to see the energetics of how families are meant to work. So to illustrate it, to just kind of give an overview of how it's meant to work, is that you're here. You are the descendant, and maybe you have children, but right now we're just going to talk about you. And behind you, ideally, are your parents, right? Your mom on your left side, your dad on your right side, energetically behind you, and then your grandparents behind them. And that behind energy is really, really essential, because when someone's behind you, and ideally we're going to imagine them holding you or giving you like a pat on the back or like encouraging you with energy and support, that is what behind means. And what's happened in so many modern day relationship family dynamics is that the kids like turn around and they're like, let me help you, mom, let me help you, dad, or all these really strange things start to appear. And children become the surrogate spouses of their parents. Children become the caretakers that are often parents of their parents, or often the parents are maybe sometimes still children, and so it kind of like feels like the parents are in front of you here, and then maybe the grandparents supported, or maybe you're just on your own island and you're just floating in the abyss, in the dynamics. So there's lots of different dynamics that come into play, but that's the biggest one that I see. It's this improper order of things. And often even say a child that then grows into an adult still being a child or being treated like a child. And so this might be something that you're experiencing in your family. And so I want to go into now how you can heal it and go into right relationship with it actively with your family and energetically. And so these are some of the things that you can do. So if we acknowledge, and I just want you to take into your body and imagine, so this is kind of the first thing that you can do, and you can do deeper in, say, meditation or visualize it, is to really imagine the order of things coming back into balance. So imagining your parents behind you, imagining your grandparents behind you, and reorganizing things. Now, sometimes that visual can be a little bit challenging, and one of the things that's so helpful to anchor things into the physical is to do this with objects. And this becomes a form of divination, it becomes a form of therapy. It's like an object therapy almost, of like, what does that symbolize? What's going on there? And you can take certain objects, and so you can set up a little designated time and a little designated space and go around your house and choose some objects of your liking, and maybe ones that you don't even know why they are what they are. And you can grab some of them. So I'm going to grab a couple of crystals that I have here. And you can choose which ones are going to represent you. You can choose which one represents your parents or whoever you're working with, your partner, your children, your cousins, whoever you're working with. And you choose what represents you and what represents them. And then you put them out where they are, like however the dynamic is now. Okay, like what is really going on? And so you might have it where, okay, mom is over here in a corner and you're over here, and there's like some distance. And so you can start to see and you can lay out what the dynamic is currently. And then you can tune in, because the thing is the outside dynamic of what's going on with your family can't change until you change inside. And so it really does start with you, even if it seems like the issue is out there with them. But this change starts on the inside. And what would it take for you to be able to move or to allow them to move back into right order? So maybe there is not safety. You're like, I don't feel safe like with that closer proximity of these people. Or I don't feel like there's proper boundaries. Like I get just pummeled like by these different energetics. Whatever the dynamic is, what are the things that you're needing in order to have these things come back into right relation? And so tuning into that is the first place to start, and using the objects, or you can also do this in visualization, whatever feels good. You can also write it out, however you connect with yourself, to see what are you needing that you're not getting, and what is your role in the family, your right role, as we're talking about this true energetic template. And that is a really helpful, wonderful place to begin. And then once you get clear on what you need and what your role is, then you can start to interact with those other characters on the game board that have been representing different things, that have been triggering things, that have been, doing all the things. And oftentimes when we start to realize what we need, then we put those things in place. We put a boundary in place. Maybe we ask for what we need. So some of it might be actively talking to them about this thing and putting whatever that need is that you discovered in place. Or some of it might not be available, where you're like, mom just can't handle that. Like, she'll collapse and be in tears, or she'll get mad, like all the different things. So there could be a situation where there's too much. And in that case, then you can connect with them energetically. You can connect with their soul. And this is like a soul-to-soul energy, where you call in their soul. You're like, this is the deal. This is what this needs to be. This is what feels aligned. This is what feels good. This is what feels natural to me. This would help us in our relationship. This would help the whole family dynamics. And you can call in their soul and actually speak those things that maybe you're not able to verbally say to them because of whatever they've got going on. And in some cases, you could write a letter and not send it, or you could write a letter and send it. So it first really comes down to identifying what the right relationship is with everyone in the dynamic, and then seeing what your right role is in that dynamic, and putting yourself back into this place of empowerment, of safety, of boundaries, of care, of love, and getting the things that you need taken care of, or at least just acknowledging what you may need. Maybe you're not going to get it from your parents. Maybe you're not going to get it from these different family members. And then you'll need to call that in with certain friendships or mentor or therapist, or energetically from your guides or your support or your higher self. And that totally works too. So feeling and really acknowledging what you need, and then beginning to open up to the dynamics that are going on in the greater family field, and see what's available. See what's available to be spoken, to the actual people. And if that's not available, then see what's available to be spoken to their souls. What's able to be spoken in writing to the cosmos, to the energy. And you're putting out that energy. And what's amazing and actually really hopeful and beautiful about family dynamics is that you're connected through blood. You're connected through DNA. You're connected through morphogenetics, through the energetic fields. That's unique, that's in a way that's very different from other people, to where you have a very big impact on the family field, on the family system. Even though it might not seem like it, it is true. And so your impact can have a big impact when you're aligning your family through yourself back into harmony. And all of this then will help heal yourself and heal those dynamics. Now, it's important to understand that not all of this started with you. It didn't start with your parents. It didn't start necessarily with your even grandparents. These are usually ancestral patterns that are continuing to play out in weird and distorted ways. And you're like living the present version of it. And so if you want to go deeper into the ancestral healing, I have a wonderful playlist down below. And again, my course to go into the deeper energetics of where this stuff is really sourcing from. That also probably needs to be looked at. But this is a wonderful place to start to begin bringing your family back into right order and right relationship through particularly coming back into tuning into what your role is, setting those boundaries, asking for what you need, moving into that space of your true center, and then everything can heal for you as well. So thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate it. Be sure to comment down below of anything that you learned, anything you're going to try, what your family dynamics are. It's a really deep subject that I don't feel like is talked about a lot, and there's not a lot of guidance of what to do, so I want to start talking about it more and more. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified every time I do new videos and you're around for this journey as we go deeper into these subjects. So thank you so much, and wishing you and your family all the best.